Good morning. It is around 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. I'm walking back to the CrossFit gym. I'm not sure if there's going to be group session this time. The group that we had previously, like the reason that I really liked CrossFit at first was because there's always like a core group of people competing, working hard. Competing, I have to say, like sometimes I was so far back that it would be hard to keep up with them. Like it's pretty crazy how much work some of them are able to do. Like it seems they don't need any like recovery time or anything like that. For me, when I do a hard workout, it happens also that the rest of the day I have a hard time staying focused. Like I might feel tired. Yesterday it happened, and I'm not sure if it's exercise is supposed to give you energy to some degree. It's not as bad now as it was in Mexico at times. At some point I thought I had like a common variable immune disorder because of my energy levels being so low and because of like frequent infections. So I don't know if it's related to inflammation in my body in general, but I don't seem to recover from exercise as well as some people, and especially the elite level CrossFitters at this gym. But yeah, I do my best to keep up, but I have to tone myself down a bit from what I would like to do in terms of competing, because if I do the same volume I'll just be destroyed for the rest of the day. So yesterday I was supposed to receive 2 Couchsurfers, but hold on. It turned out that I'm not perhaps the best communicator. Before I meet people, generally I would just accept the request, and I figured I'll talk to them when they arrive. I'm not very big on starting to chat remotely. I understand for a lot of people, and especially girls, that it might be more reassuring and comforting to get to know someone that they're going to be staying at their place with, to get to know them better. However, for me, once I finalize the request, it's accepted. Generally, I would assume they just show up and then we can get to know each other. Then, it's worked fine for me in the past, so I kind of assume that that's an all right way of doing things. I don't know what other people think, or how communicative people are generally before the between the time that they make their reservation, so to speak, or the agreement, and the time that the guest will actually arrive. But yeah, I'm more of a kind of in-person, get to know each other kind of guy, I suppose. So one of the girls, even though she had accepted the stay, well, I had accepted and she had confirmed. It ended up that she said she was confused and she found another place. I mean, she was apologetic about it, but it is a bit of a pain that I went out of my way yesterday to book a room, because I had 2 Couchsurfers and I figured that having both of them stay in the living room was going to be very cramped. So booked an additional room, and then one of them had already been a bit flaky, the TV producer, and the conversation has been a little bit odd. I find her difficult to understand, and she makes some strange statements that makes me wonder what's going on. Maybe I should if anyone's interested, I could share the conversation, but she mentioned killing someone. I'm sure it was misspoken on her behalf, and then she said oh, my ID is incorrect. She has she said there was a different photo on her ID because of some mistake that they made at the official agency, which seems very, very unlikely. So I started actually getting a bit suspicious on my end, because her Couchsurfing profile was also deleted. She barely had any references to begin with, and that makes you wonder, okay, no references, profile gone. She said it was because she didn't want to pay for the membership. I didn't even know Couchsurfing was paid until now. I wonder if I have a grandfathered account since I've had it for very long or something. I have no idea, but I remember once doing a postcard for verification, but I've never been asked to do a subscription, pay for a subscription on Couchsurfing. But anyway, her name was also different from the profile she uses, Chris, and then her I asked for her ID so I could corroborate with the security, with the booking that I was making, because it had to match, and it turned out to be something else. So maybe it's for the best that she didn't show up. Supposedly she was gonna arrive today, but yeah, it's not often, like, as a guy, that you would have to worry about, you know, privacy or safety. But if all of these warning flags, maybe it's for the best that she's not staying at my place, that she would have her own room. But yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here. What I did this morning was I figured out how I'm gonna do my YouTube channels to some extent. I'm gonna use Devo Daily. It's gonna be like pretty much an unfiltered, raw stream of thoughts directly from my brain to your plate or phone or whatever device you're using to watch this. I don't think it's gonna be all that interesting to most people. I don't know, I'm not advertising myself very well here, but you know, you'd have to be pretty interested in a channel, I guess, or in a person, first of all, to bother with the unfiltered version. But you know, it's mainly for myself that I'm doing this. It's to get into the habit of creating the videos, and it helps me process my own thoughts. It serves as a memory crutch also, and I might be able to use some of the footage, you know, to more easily create the other videos that I would like. You know, I could always pull from this database that I do have. So Devo Daily would be like the raw stream. Then I'm gonna have like a primary channel, which is just gonna go by my name, which is gonna be a bit higher quality videos and generally focused on resolving a single topic. One that I plan to start with is, for instance, how to become a model in the UAE, or how to get more jobs if you already got started. So basically, like, helpful tips for people starting out, some basic information about the industry here, like, you know, how much it earns, which agencies might be good to work with, how to get your headshots, or what photos to include in your portfolio, and those kinds of things basically. So I just arrived to my favorite gym here in Dubai, which is Level Up. And what I'm doing may look a little weird, but it's a great warm-up exercise. It's basically just walking on your butt. It's good for core. I saw it on Instagram the other day. Just going like this. And I'm trying to do the whole mat. Like the first time, holy crap. It's pretty tiring actually. So I'm gonna see if I can do back and forth right now. I've been wanting to do a movement class based on like animal flow and basic gymnastics skills. Throw anything in there that I find interesting, really, to try and improve my mobility, flexibility, and strength as well. I think it might be interesting to get a certificate in animal flow and then try to teach other people. It's like one of those up and coming sports that I really took an interest in. All right, so for modeling in Dubai, let me first give a bit of a background and a comparison to Mexico, which is where I started. So in Dubai, I feel it's actually pretty similar in a lot of ways, in terms of there's not much exclusivity with agencies. They all seem to hire any models or list them in their catalog, anyone they can get their hands on, and they all get their clients in different places, and you never know basically how many hands a contract might have gone through between the client and the model. That's something I've heard about a few times already. So it's a pretty fragmented market with a few large players and then a lot of independent players as well. So one of the first places, or one of the first ways that I used to get hired, was an agency called Mixfame. There you can simply create a profile online. It has a cost, that one, to get like the premium subscription. It includes a photo shoot, which is probably a good idea if you don't have any professional photos yet. Then you can get like the headshot and the full body, and, like, you know, the basic kind of stuff that clients are gonna want to see when they hire someone. There's a few other names for agencies that pop up quite a bit. One of the ones that's most frequently recurring is Bareface, for instance. I suppose they're one of the bigger ones. But in terms of work, I haven't been to any. I've only been to one in-person casting, which was with Allure, Allure agency. And now I've been seeing a good amount of castings from them, so they're another one of the bigger ones, I suppose. But to be honest, the best way to get jobs that I've noticed so far in Dubai is to become part of the WhatsApp groups. Like everything seems to be done through WhatsApp here in Dubai, and modeling is no exception. So one of the bigger ones is casting in the UAE, which is led by Leo. So you would basically have to get in touch with him in order to be added to one of the groups. I've been in talks with him to create like an app, because it does become quite a bit of work having to scan through all of the castings, and many of them don't fit your profile. You know, they might have anywhere between, I think on average, between like 5 to 20 castings every single day, and I would say 80 or 90% doesn't apply to me. You know, they might want Mediterranean or local, like Emirati kind of profiles, and then or kids, you know, outside of the age range or demographics. So it would be great to have an app that just like sends notifications, which would be similar then to Mixfame. I use Mixfame as like my central repository here. I have it's kind of like Model Mayhem. You upload your portfolio, they support photos as well as videos. I'm currently using that as my main one because they have the most complete user interface as far as I've seen. It's easy to add, remove photos, keep your portfolio updated. But then for WhatsApp, what I did was create a group with, you can do it either with another number that you have for yourself, or with somebody else's number. Like you would add them and then delete them again, so you have your own private group, so to speak. Then I pin that group, and there I keep, you know, my most recent portfolio items, casting video as well, and of course a presentation that I can easily copy paste. I keep that in Clip as well, so I can easily use it on Windows, but since that's not available yet for Android, so on Android I generally copy paste it out of that group just as well. Sorry about the weird movements, but yeah, another tip might be to do your wardrobe selection, like have a Google Photos album, or I don't know what platform you might want to use to save like a folder of photos. I would generally, when I buy new clothes, take a photo and then put that in an album on Google Photos, and then share a link to that one. So when people ask me about wardrobe, I don't have to go and try stuff on at that time, or, you know, try to find old photos. I'll have everything nicely cataloged and ready to go. So you just pass a link. I use Rebrandly for that purpose. So if you were to type in like devo.link/wardrobe, you can see how I'm doing things. And I keep that up to date. You know, if some clothing gets damaged, I would remove it from the album. If I had anything new, it goes in there. It could even have like comments, and in the future maybe I'll who knows, I might transfer it to ScreenClip, which is of course my favorite image hosting platform, because the presentation might be even nicer. But yeah, for now I'm using Google Photos. My workout, I was a little bit distracted thinking of what tips to give in this video about modeling. I'm thinking it would be good to you know, do like a guide for complete beginners, and then have more practical tips or like more in-depth information for people who already have experience in modeling in general and just want to know, okay, how is it different in the UAE, etc. But yeah, for now I'm just gonna basically say anything that pops into my head, kind of do like the initial brainstorming for the videos. So here we go. Castings are done remotely here, as far as I've seen. I suspect it's ever since the pandemic, it's probably a lot easier, as it is in other places, to just send photos and a video instead of having to go to an agency in person and like do an acting video there. It's still necessary for some jobs, especially the like more acting heavy ones, But for basic commercials and the smaller scale shoots, I've been getting basically all of them without doing a casting in person. So that's good news. So anyway, a tip for the video, besides the obvious, you should have, for instance, good lighting, not like here. Have like decent lighting. Make sure you are adequately dressed. In the UAE, they're a bit more, how do you say, traditional than in some other places. So keep that in mind, don't show too much skin or anything like that. I should get a bit more in depth. I should ask girls what their experience with that is. For me, I just know, make sure to wear a decent, like either polo or shirt. Have like full length pants for the full body image. So the casting video is pretty straightforward. You just say your name, age, nationality, current location, and some agencies will insist that you stop there, so don't make that one too long. If you have like specific skills or things that you want to mention, for instance, you can mention languages, you can mention if you have like experience with specific sports or more acting experience. It's best probably to make a separate casting video for that. A practical tip would also be, I uploaded my casting video to YouTube, for instance. I think that's helpful in some cases where it's easier for the person receiving it to share it. They don't have to send a large file. You can just send a link to the YouTube video. It might also help, to some extent. It's probably not going to get a lot of exposure because it's not something that's going to go viral, but it does help sometimes you can track how many people are watching the video. And it's possible for people to leave comments, so you might be able to get some valuable feedback that otherwise you might miss, Again, in my case, I used a short link so I can more easily remember. I can use devo.link/casting for my main casting video, and then I plan to have a few other ones. For instance, I have devo.link/casting/skills, where I explain a little bit about my gymnastics background and stuff like that. So if you have separate skills that deserve a separate video, you could split them up like that. Sometimes agents or casting directors are going to ask about previous experience as well, so it's good to have the practice of, first of all, I keep a list, a spreadsheet basically of all of the photo shoots done. I keep track there also of the payments. I could share that spreadsheet if anyone's interested. It lists dates, amount earned, and I calculate like the hourly, I put the start time, end time, calculate the hourly rate that I got. It also lists if I received the portfolio, if I received the payment. It lists some information about, the agency, the photographer. I like to have this information on file, first of all, so I can share it when people ask about previous work experience, but also as kind of an accounting system. It's generally difficult to get the results of any shoots that you've done in the past. Sometimes if you keep in touch with the photographer, you might get clearance from the client so that you could get those, but it's from experience, I know it takes a bit of effort. Sometimes they'll publish it to social media, so whenever you work with a brand, try to follow their Facebook or Instagram or wherever they might publish it, their YouTube. And after some time working in this industry, you should be able to have like a pretty good list of URLs that you then keep in, say, clip templates, or just as a, on Android, you can also keep it in your casting group and just copy paste that list of URLs for easy reference as well. If you're starting completely from scratch as a model and you don't have any working experience and you're not getting any castings for like the traditional channels, what you might also do is sign up for these apps in Dubai. They have, for instance, one called Dubai Secret Society. There you might find photo shoots that they don't really have a payment. They're kind of on exchange basis. So for instance, you might go to a restaurant and spend like 3 to 4 hours generally, eating while they take photos. It's usually more casual than a paid photo shoot. And it's a good way to get a portfolio together, if you haven't had any prior jobs yet. So generally they're unpaid, but what you would get is compensation. So say that it's a restaurant, you might get a meal for two on a different date, or any other activity, you might get like a voucher for a certain quantity that you spend on another day. So it's a fun way to get to know people. That's often one of the ways as well, you know, start networking. Once you start doing a couple of shoots, you can ask people if they have any contacts that they can pass, or if they can get you included in any of the WhatsApp lists. So Secret Society is the most established one of these apps as far as I've seen. For women, there's a lot more opportunities for men. They have about 100 different events that they seemingly can attend on at any given time, whereas men, they might have like 20, 30 or so. You might need, there's certain requirements to join this app. I think you need about 3,000 followers or so on Instagram. I've seen exceptions, so you know, if you have very good looks or a very strong profile, then you might get an exception, but generally it's recommended that you have an active social media profile. Another one of these apps is called Hype Auditor. They're new, as far as I can tell. They have a very solid app. I had some technical difficulties with the Secret Society, but I'm sure they're working on it. But yeah, Hype Auditor seems like a decent platform. I'm hoping they will have some decent gigs as well soon, because it's nice to have options. I do these sometimes too, just, you know, when I don't have anything to do on a Sunday, I might use it to basically as a means of, you know, you get paid to go socialize and have fun, so it's not a bad thing. And there's a third one which goes by the name of, it's currently escaping me, I'll need a second. Yeah, the third one is called A-List. I don't have any experience with this one. I'll if I do get anything interesting from it, I'll let you guys know. But I have seen somebody show me their screen, and I have seen that it takes, there's like levels, you know. Some gigs are available to people with 5K followers, some are required 10 or 20K. So yeah, there's a few differences. I'll if people are interested, let me know in the comments if you want me to go like more in depth in terms of which types of events or which ones are good, or what the requirements are, you know. Just ask and I'll see if I can make another follow-up video. So yeah, once you have enough photos and videos to have something workable, like a workable portfolio, ideally you would create like a reel of sorts, you know, like a custom video where you basically showcase a year's worth of, or whatever amount of time you would require to fill like a short video with interesting content. And you can show like, you know, I've done this. And you could also use kind of filler content, you know, like try to get some TFP or trade for print shoots with photographers locally. That's another good way to plug into the local market, is let photographers know, especially some of the not so established ones might do it for free, where they build their own portfolio and you know, you do shoots and you also build your portfolio at the same time. The more established ones might charge something, but it could also be worthwhile. That's another video I'm thinking of making, is like basically reviewing photographers here in the area, like what they specialize in, what their rates are, and that kind of information. If you are interested in seeing that video sooner rather than later, also make sure to let me know in the comments, because sometimes I don't know what to prioritize, so that would be helpful.